Okay, yes. So welcome everyone. Lionsgate portal today. Really happy to have you here. Know that I don't take people's time for granted. When you guys sign up to these events that I do, a workshop, a retreat, it's something that, I take your time seriously. I take my time seriously. And I always want it to be an empowering experience. I want you to live with an energy that you've got something and that you feel that something crystallized. There was an aha moment or there was something. But I also want to tell you a little bit of a kind of funny story with regards to kind of activations and energy work happening during portals. Now, I want you to just be open and allow yourselves to be open, because here's the thing. Back in February, we had two really significant portals. And I remember on the 2nd of February and the 22nd of February, and I did another activation at the time, and it felt pretty kind of like subtle energy work, yeah? 2 or 3 days after the activation, I felt my whole energy body was dissolving, and I felt like I was recalibrating into sort of a completely different frequency. So I'm sharing this just to say that you never know how things are going to work out when it comes to activations. And, even if the energy feels subtle, just your intention and your presence and you kind of all the things you could have been doing today, you chose to show up to really conjure your energies and to really bring forward intentional energy for what you're calling in and what you're inviting into your life. That really matters. That is really important. So I want you to just be open and give yourself the opportunity to just kind of, work through the energy that we're going to be working through today. Now, I'm going to be looking at two screens because I can see my comments on my screen on my laptop, which is also where I'm recording. So I see them on my phone next to me. So I have a bit of I'm going to be looking like this. But yeah, so really warm welcome to everybody. We're all coming from very different circumstances. We're in different places in our lives, but know that, our intention and our energy is bringing forward something really special today. And I want you to know that whatever you put in and whatever you bring to the table through your energy and your intention alone gets multiplied tenfold, as it is with the energy today. So bear that in mind. And that's why we're doing the energetic clearing, and that's why we're calling in the manifestations, because we want to work both on the level of, what we're releasing, as well as what we're calling in, yeah? Now, I've prepared my glass of water. So I've suggested, feel free to go and grab a glass of water if you need to, because we're going to be using water as well as we're going to be doing the energy work. I personally find water to be the most powerful kind of magical element that exists. I find to have a very transformative value in my life. It's not only a cleansing kind of element, it's an amplifier of energy. Already at an amplified energy, kind of a day where the energy is amplified already, yeah? And it's a really powerful agent for transmutation as well. So it's really beautiful working with the energy of the water and to really kind of let it kind of recalibrate as you kind of bringing in your intentions to recalibrate your energy and the energy of intention that you're bringing forward, you're calling in. So grab a glass of water. I actually stuck my crystals on this in a not very stylish way, because I found when I tried to put a thread, they were not sticking together. So I sellotape things. You might put glue tack, whatever you want. And that's just going to be for the duration of our workshop today. But equally, you can just have a glass of water. You're going to put your hands later on, and you're going to bring your intentions in as well, as we're calling them in as we do some energy work. And before we do that, I also I was thinking about, how we want to get into this, because for me, what's really significant when it comes to sort of anything to do with kind of manifestation energy and the energy of manifesting is to really look at some of the sort of foundational aspects. How do we prepare the soil, guys? How do we prepare the soil? So we've got some preparation that we can do on our side. We've got some preparation we can do on our side that really prepares the soil. The soil with the beautiful power of water that you're going to plant your seeds, yeah? The soil that you prepare and how you nurture the soil is so important and so foundational. So anything that you do with manifesting energy, you know, it works alongside the soil. Okay, so one of the things that my guides channeled to me when I was planting, when it was full moon ceremonies, me and my son went to plant in a little green area, in a Hove area just near a flat. We went to plant, you know, to root our kind of intentions, what we were bringing forward. And one of the things that was being channeled to me was, in a way, it's kind of like the power of the energy of the moon works with the sort of fertility of the soil that we're planting in and we're rooting. This is a really important element than just having the intentions kind of sitting around, right? So you're working with the power of the earth and the soil with the power of the moon, and you have two incredibly magnetic kind of components there, bringing your bringing more power to your manifestations. So that's kind of a really important, it's kind of almost like the earth becoming the alchemist vessel. Yeah. And even if we're not planting things on the earth, you know, we have a soil that we need to be looking after. And I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the sort of aspects of what the best things you can do to prepare your soil, so that whatever you're planting, whatever seeds you're putting forward, it does have that strength to it. Okay. So it brings more strength to it. So I really love working with the analogy of the alchemist. And one of the things we're going to be looking also is how, you know, it's the energy of refining. How can we refine our process? How we can, as we're manifesting, as we're calling things in. And that's where I'm bringing my process of Estia, my process of alignment, to kind of give you a bit of a heads up on how you can make it more powerful. Okay. And remember that, you know, when it comes to manifesting, everyday living is manifestation. Everyday life is a ritual. You manifest every single day, every single moment in your life that you're getting out there and you're doing something that you're, you know, even you're saying, right, I want to get the bus to get to town today, or I'm going to do. Every time you get into a feeling, thinking process, you're engaging your heart and your mind. That's the process of manifestation. So it's about becoming very conscious of it. And it's about really creating, we're not talking about nurturing the soil, it's about creating a space of alignment, so that the things that come into for us, they're actually feeling good for us, as opposed to feeling out of alignment. Because a lot of the times when we're getting into the process, oh yeah, I want to manifest this, I want this, if it's out of alignment, we're going to encounter a ton of blocks, and we're going to be like wondering why this thing is not coming for us. Yeah. So that's why we want to be looking at sort of the ground feeling, the soil feeling fertile. And this is also where I feel the process of the alchemist kind of process of refinement is really important to us. Yeah. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit about this as well. And I'm really kind of like bringing maybe a little bit of a different perspective than some of the other people that you might have come across in the process of manifestation. For me, it's all about creating, and part of the nurturing the soul is about creating safety. Okay, so I'm going to be asking you in a minute to look at how you can create that safe space for you. Yeah, so that you can manifest, so that you can feel kind of like ready to invite what you're calling in, whatever that might be, your next level abundance, your money, your business creating a consistent level, whatever it is. And we're also going to be using the sort of, I use the process of incremental growth and creating momentum. So yes, we can call in, you can have, you want to call in whatever you want to call in, 100K a month, or whatever it is, like 100K a year in your business or whatever. But what I'm going to be asking you to step into energetically create a safety in your vibration, so that you feel so rooted, so safe, and so secure in yourself. So then your manifestations take a lot more root, and they feel a lot more manageable as well. Okay. Because often what I see energetically as a psychic healer, when I see people making this really bold kind of asks to the universe and asking for these incredibly big and wonderful things, what I see energetically that feels in lack of congruence, or that feels not really aligned, is that it exhausts people's system and nervous system. They're asking for those things, but they kind of, on some other level energetically, they don't feel safe enough in the conditions that they have, right? So then the manifestation ends up getting sabotaged or ends up not being in vibrational alignment. So vibrational alignment is my thing, and it's something I've been studying a lot very closely. And that's why I'm kind of really looking at that safety, how we can harness that, how we can create it more. So let's get cracking with it. I want to kind of get into bringing those things in before we do a little bit of our energy activation, okay? And where I get to ask you to be more, a little bit more intentional. So I can see Sam here, Catherine, Nikiforos, welcome guys, lovely to see you, really, really nice to see you. And as I said, sorry if you guys didn't get the link. Something has happened and the emails didn't go out. I didn't see them on my you know, on my email list, kind of like folder where all the emails get sent. I didn't see them, so I'm going to send you the recording. You can also do it later if you want to, but great to see so many of you live. Now, let's get cracking. So first of all, I want to kind of like really set the foundations that we talked about, creating that safety, creating those foundations, that fertile soil, okay? So the first thing we need to really be clear about and understand is that your heart is your manifesting muscle, okay? Yes, your intention becomes clear through your mind, through your intellectual capacity, but your heart is your manifesting lab. It's the creation point. It's the desire, the planting of the seed. So, and one of the things that we need to get comfortable with is because so many of us, you know, our heart has, you know, can take a punch, but it's gone through stuff. So it's going to take a little bit of contraction and expansion and a little bit of like us working that muscle. And often, you know, for a lot of people, there might be a little bit of a numbness around, you know, desiring what we desire, or the blocks from our limiting beliefs, whatever that might be, right? So feeling into our heart muscle and really reminding ourselves that this is the lab for manifestation is a really important part of the process here, yeah? So however much you will invite your mind to be in synergy, to work together with you for manifesting, you need to feel into your desires. So if you're manifesting something that doesn't feel right, that doesn't feel good, you know, it's either because it's not coming from you, it could be from a belief that belongs to somebody else, your parents, this and that, the other, whatever. Or, you know, there's some kind of like, you know, blocks there, right, that we need to work through and that we need to feel into. And it's really kind of worth like continuing to come back into our heart and feeling into the things that we're desiring, and really getting curious and down the rabbit hole of the stuff, the narratives, the stories, the information that comes up that might say, you're not good enough for this, or you're not ready for this, or are you sure you want this, or whatever it might be, yeah, hesitations, reluctant energy, or just kind of even the energy of like, well, you'd like to love it, but you're not loving it, you know? So it's your heart will be the way into your manifestation process, not your mind alone. The mind is there to just bring that awareness and that clarification, but your heart is what's going to create it. And it becomes a lot more effortless when we feel more in flow emotionally. That vibration of that desire keeps on being alive, right? So we need to keep on bringing that energy. It needs to be kept alive and needs to be consistent enough for that to manifest, to bear fruit, right? So it's like when we plant a seed, we need to keep on watering it. We need to keep on bringing that energy to it. We need to tend to it like we're growing anything. And so that on an energetic level is a heart energy. So we need to keep that desire going, or we need to simply allow the desire to go, because it might be that it shifts. It might be that it moves in different directions. And it might be that, like we talked about the alchemist, refining, the vision keeps on getting refined. The intention kind of moves around a bit. So in a way, it takes a little bit of that attention from us to see, you know, that do we still desire this? You know, we might desire it now, but do we desire it a month down the line, 3 months down the line? Might be that we desire it still, but there's a different kind of form that it, like, there's something about it that needs to kind of shift or change. So for instance, you know, somebody who feels like they want to manifest the home of the dreams, but something along the process has shifted into feeling like, you know what, I don't even like living in a home. I want to live, like, I want to do van life or whatever it is, or, you know, there might be a shift. So this is where my process still comes in, guys. You know, it's my process for alignment that I use with everybody. And that's come out of like every single person I've worked with of the last few years, every single person, including myself. And it's starting from a place of honesty. Where am I right now? What is it that I truly desire? Is that really something that is for me right now, that I really want to invite it in? And here's why starts to become real. When it comes, that's why I'm saying about this is about creating a fertile space in your heart energy first. When it comes to our mind, we like ideas. You know, we can sign up to ideas here, there, and everywhere, and then we can leave it and kind of like kind of revisit it again, you know. But it might be during that time something has shifted. We're not kind of buying into that idea anymore, right? That's why it needs to be a feeling thing, because we shift and change, and as we shift and change, so does our desire. So just be attentive to what form that desire might be shifting in. Okay. To give you an example, in my business, I made a massive, significant change. And one of my manifestations last year, it was about getting consistency in my business, which started happening last April of 2021. And the next level, because we talk about incremental, creating momentum in your manifestations, yeah, because it's easier for our nervous system. It's so much more manageable, and it feels so much safer to our energy. The next thing that I kind of broke into now since this spring was to substitute my previous salary through my business alone, right? And I did it. And it's been consistent. And what's interesting is that's been the safe space for me. But one of the things that shifted last year, and something that was pulling me away from a desire to make my business sustainable the last couple of years, was that I was not choosing a model that was sustainable for my energy. And I had to work in a way that just made it possible. So that there was something about it that was a little bit off before. When that became clear that there was, and I was congruent and I was really true to myself, that, okay, something right now, it's not quite working, and something, it doesn't make me want to desire this in the same way. When I honed into it and I became clear about it, things started shifting, and then manifesting the consistency was a lot more easy for me when I really reflected on this. Yeah. So it might be something else for you. Somebody else might be, do you know what? I've been doing this all my life. I've been doing this kind of work, or this, whatever, you know, profession, whatever expertise, whatever skill you have, been doing this for a while, but there's something in the way I'm doing it that's not quite clicking for me. If something is not clicking for you right now in the way things are panning out, it's going to be a lot more kind of tricky to be manifesting the kind of amount of money or the amount of the free time you have, whatever it is, you know. So I guess it's my way of saying, like, the conditions that you set are really important. And you need to allow the conditions in your life to be supportive for you, and to be viable, and to be energetically right for you. They need to match you, and you need to be curious about the process to align with the right kind of set of conditions that will support your life, that will support your work. And, you know, that's when you're opening up the gates to manifesting, right? Because if we keep on saying, no, it's perfect as it is, and if we keep on lying to ourselves, and if we are not meeting that energy that feels like, you know what, I can't put my finger on it, that could be the starting point. But something right now in this set of conditions is not quite right for me, and I know I want to see a shift here. Then you start manifesting the energy that's going to show you what needs to shift. You start calling in to be shown what needs to shift. Yeah. And then you start kind of aligning with the possibilities. Do you see what I mean? Do you see why there has to be a little bit of a preparation space, a preparation time, where you get to be kind of honest about what feels uncomfortable, what you feel might need to shift a bit, where you've been selling yourself short, where you've been in a way making things a little bit harder for yourself. All those things are part of the conditions and part of us nurturing the soil before we plant seeds. Does it make sense so far? And I really love the analogy of the farmer who plows the earth. You know, just before planting the seeds, the earth needs to be plowed, so everything gets turned up. So, and there's movement in the soil. So just where it was steady and all kind of solid and everything will be turned up, you know. So it's almost like that turning up is that process of almost like we can feel a little bit confused before we start calling in something new. This confusion is a good thing because it gets you to feel like, well, to make me reflect on something that, like, yeah, something is ready to change here, yeah, it's before we start planting something new. So here's the thing, you need to allow the conditions around you to support you. And that, what will do, it will open up your vessel to being receptive to the energy of manifestation and to what you're calling in. Yeah. So these conditions are important. And we talked about heart being the manifesting space. Now, the thing that also comes as part of those conditions is a home, our relationships, our friendship, our work. Right now, with where you're at, can you say that, can you see how much your life feels supportive of you? Or are you somebody who's just constantly trying to just take care of everything? Is your home a place that you can be supported in? We're talking about opening up the vessel of receptivity. But if we're constantly in that process of chasing, if we're constantly in the process of, you know, cleaning a house rather than letting it support us, we're constantly looking to take care of it. Yeah. And I'm not saying not to clean your house. It's just a small mindset shift. Is your home right now a place where you can really come and relax, where you can really drop your energy? Because that dropping of the energy is what's going to let it open up, is what's going to let it connect you more with everything around you. You're going to start being in a deeper relationship with everything around you, including universal energy, including energy of receiving. So if we let things around us give back to us, as opposed to us constantly being in the space of giving, then we're learning to change the dynamic with our own energy, with our own self. So then we start becoming the vessel for receiving opportunities, new energy, just time, space for ourselves, nurturing time, just relaxation, whatever that might be. And you know, have a look right now to see, where am I allowing that and where am I blocking that? You know, can I truly say I can go and relax in my own home? Can I truly say that I can feel nourished in my relationships? Are they taking space and energy from us? You know, are we seeing ourselves as someone who has all these balls and we need to juggle all the time? And I'm saying that as a single parent, okay, single co-parenting mom, you know, I've had to shift that in myself, and it's changed dramatically. And it wasn't, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't something that I thought I could do, but I knew that something needed to shift in the way I was connecting with my own energy space. So I needed to create that vessel for receiving, to be surprised, to be delighted, to be supported, to be nourished by those around me, by my home, even by my own son. You know, yes, we're a mother, but we still receive back from those relationships, and he loves to give. So it's kind of, that's the first point of setting those right conditions, reflecting on our ability to be a vessel for receiving through understanding how we connect with our dynamic with everything around us. And it's hard for many of us. It's very hard to acknowledge that. It's very hard to say, you know what, actually, yeah, is your city, your town nourishing you? Are your routines, your rituals, your everyday kind of way of functioning and living, does that feel supportive? Or does it feel like dead energy? And then getting so curious about that ritual of living and the dynamics we create within, so that, you know, we start creating those incremental shifts. And they have to be incremental so that we don't overstress ourselves, we don't overwhelm, we don't suddenly get to a point thinking, oh my gosh, I've been like really doing this wrong or whatever. There's no right or wrong. It's just about, we're ready to change what we're ready to change, you know, and we start with small things, you know. So yes, you need to allow to be a good manifesting, to really empower, to really kind of supercharge your manifesting prowess. It's about setting those right conditions and shifting that, making that little tweak, that little shift, rather than you running around getting everything, taking care of everything. Maybe kind of starting to see, what would happen if I drop this ball, or if I ask somebody else to do this, or if I actually just really kind of just let my home be a sacred space for me today. And then I do the same tomorrow and the day after that. What if I was to change my sleeping ritual, my sleeping pattern, where I get to go home and just really rest a lot more? What would happen if I was to eat a lot healthier food and to give back to myself? And then even if that means getting in that uncomfortable space for a while where it just feels odd making a change, you know what I mean? When you start to eat well, when you start to take care of yourself on a deeper level. And I know this might feel like it's way out of like the whole energy of manifesting, but guys, it is not. It is so essential. It changes the dynamic between yourself and the universe, between the relationship you have with other people, how you relate to your own self, because it starts with how we connect with our own selves, and then everything else is a reflection of that. The deeper you and bigger you can create that container to be that receiving vessel for the good stuff, the easier it becomes. Then what essentially that does is it gets to unblock things for us, because there's only so much energy work can do for us. Some of that refinement needs to take place through our own intentional energy and honest reflection of what's really happening and where we could do with refining. And I'm going to be asking you to do this, yeah? So what's the extension of this? Your routines, your rituals, your daily living needs to feel sustainable, needs to feel pleasurable enough for you to want more. Essentially manifesting, whatever it is you're manifesting, is about inviting more, yeah? It's about expansion and amplification, but it doesn't remove what you've got going on. It amplifies that. So that's why those foundations are important. It comes to say, like, we're bringing and adding value to what you already have going on. It's not about eliminating it. It's not about, in a way, becoming a game of like, oh, can I do this? It'll be fun to do this. It's about adding value to our lives, yeah? So you want to have that as a playground, and you want to kind of look at, right now, I want you to think, are your daily rituals, your working rituals, your living rituals, your sleeping, your eating, your whatever, do they feel sustainable? And do they feel pleasurable? Do they feel that they add value? Or do they take more from you? Does it feel like it's something you do as a chore, something you have to tick off the list? Because there's a lot of this limiting belief that, and I do see that a lot with people, that people make really mature, deep commitments to things that they don't really care passionately about. So we've been taught how to make that commitment and be responsible. But what's the point of being responsible for things that we are not caring about, that don't feel that they add value, that they don't feel pleasurable enough? Does it make sense? So yeah, so this is kind of doing the real talk about this. Okay, so this is about creating that foundation and starting to get curious about, like, you know, what's one thing right now, as part of this process of Estia that I work with the alignment, is getting honest with ourselves, right? And doing that consistently over the time, but incrementally. But then it's kind of like creating sacred space and setting a sacred boundary. So Jordan Peterson, who I really like, he said that if you're really committing, let me see, I've written it down. If you're really, you're not really committed to something unless you're prepared to sacrifice for it. And for me, I take a little bit of a different take with it, that in a way, it's like if we're really committing and inviting this abundance, this really big shift, because it's not just about a one-off money manifestation. It's about a sustained lifestyle that really allows us to kind of plug into this unlimited source of energy and abundance that can really take roots, guys. That's what we want. We want to take roots. So if we're going to be committing to this, if we're going to be calling in these wonderful blessings, this abundance, more money, more whatever, there might be right now one thing that you might need to shift in the way you hold sacred space in your life, how you create your rituals, your routines, what you're saying yes to, and maybe more things that we need to say no to some things. I want you to think about, is there, and I literally want you to comment below, like right now, and tell me, those of you who feel like you want to share this with whatever you know you're calling in right now, money, opportunities, thriving business, doing well, feeling happy, you know, because for me, abundance is so much a multi-dimensional, multi-aspected thing, right? It's health, is wealth, is happiness, is joy, is feeling like having your day feeling good, you know, it feels like it's lived in a way that feels good, that feels enjoyable. So whatever that is, share with me below if you can really feel into it. If you need to close your eyes for a minute, feel free to do so. If you can kind of go within right now with what you're calling in, I want you to feel into yourself and just feel into what you know, and feel in your gut level to be some kind of intuitive nudge of something that you know you might be required to shift. You might be needing to call in and put a bit of a sacred boundary, redefine your sacred boundaries, right? With something, your relationship to, I don't know, maybe a bad habit around going to bed late, or not taking care of yourself, not eating well, not putting good nutrients in your body, yeah? Or it might be saying yes to people about things that you don't want to do, yet feeling that there's a level of responsibility. Being stuck in a job that you really dislike. Anything. So I want you to just kind of like feel into it, whatever that is for you. Can you feel into what you feel, this one shift in your sacred boundaries that you could do right now, and how that's going to support your sacred space? That's going to really help to facilitate and open up more space for the stuff you do really want. It could be something small, it could be something bigger. I would love to hear from you what you think that is. And I don't want you to justify or explain why you can't shift it. I just want you to name it. If you don't want to name it here in front of everyone, you don't have to. I want you to just see it for yourself. I want you to acknowledge it in yourself, and just own it. Just be honest, own it, and just let it kind of vibrate in your awareness that right now, I know that this would really help me to make that shift, to create more of that sacred space. So the good blessings, the stuff that I'm getting to prepare, I'm preparing to call in, can really take root. Because guys, for anything like that, any shift, any change that we're inviting in, or any new kind of blessing, we need to create sacred space for it. Sacred space is important because it's a lot easy to call it in when we've called the sacred space. A sacred space is intentional energy. It's a lot more mindful energy, and it works in synergy with us. So we're calling something in, but we're doing our bit energetically to invite it in. Yeah. So do you know if there's one thing that right now, a habit, something that's not quite sitting right with you, that you know that you could be shifting to invite more of what you're calling in? Share with me if you know what that is. And if not, just recognize it in yourselves, yeah? But as we said, you need to let the universe know that joy matters to you, and all the good things and the blessings you're calling in, they really do matter. And the way for the universe to really get that that's a thing for you, it needs to see that you're already becoming a bit of a vibrational match for it, therefore creating those conditions for it, as opposed to waiting to be saved by manifestation. Manifesting is not about saving. Your spirit guides will save you. Your manifesting wish won't save you. It's like you create that for you. You become a vibrational match for something to come with a lot more ease, yeah? And that's the whole point of incremental growth, because we don't just focus on the big thing. We start like, okay, how can I break it down? How can I start moving towards it in a way and let it come to you in a way that allows my vibration to become more of a match to it energetically, incrementally, through building momentum. That can really make such a difference. So for me, in my business, it was this thing like, I would just love to gain consistency. It was my first goal. And the second one was to move into completely, substituting the salary I had in my work. And then there's another goal, so then you move to the next goal. Nikifor says, I'm trying to spend less time online and instead accumulate time and energy to feel trust in myself. And thank you for sharing, Nikiforos. And it's very interesting because we were talking about the same thing. I think that's a real great example that is so common with our modern life these days, because so much of our life happens online. And it's something that so many people are experiencing. So I appreciate that you shared that. It's the exact conversation we're having in our group, and what we were talking with the women in the group about. That needs to shift so that they make more time for that growth that they're calling in, right? And that's how then we start to create that sacred space. And Nikiforos, think about how incrementally you could start tackling that, because let's face it, we like the online space. It is totally is a real issue for everyone. So let's see how we would tackle that incrementally. That's what I want you to do, guys, because this process of like, if I go to the gym, I might as well do an hour and a half or I'm not doing anything. No, that's crap. That doesn't work like that. I started doing workouts every day for like 30 minutes and it's perfect. And it's not pushing me, but I've seen change and I've seen shifts in my body as a consequence. So we want to look at, Nikiforos, how then we could start tackling on an incremental level. So it could be about, could I remove an hour of that time every day? So it's not about eliminating it completely. It's not about choosing this against that. So the sacrifice that Jordan Peterson was talking about can be like a real small one, right? But that's incremental. But then because you freed up that time, then you think, okay, so I'm creating a little bit more of a sacred space around that hour. What do I want to make it? And often what I say is that what matters is that that space is created, even if we're going to waste time in it, it's a lot better than using it, like say on the internet, if that's how it took over your time, because you're creating mindful space to even like get a bit confused in that, recalibrate yourself as you're making that transition. Like, I really don't know what to do with this hour. I really, but actually it's a great thing because you're letting your energy and yourself kind of recalibrate to the fact that you're creating some space, even if you don't always know what to do with it. And then you start creating that momentum, thinking next time I think like, okay, tomorrow I'm finding I'm really missing connecting with nature more. Go to a park, or I'm really feeling like I want to bring more of like going out for a walk and just like listening to music, whatever it is. So you start making space for you. So it's about like working on that sort of dynamic with your energy of receptivity, the wishes of your own. So you're kind of in a way becoming a training ground. So before you're calling in the universe to respond to you, you're starting to work in that relationship with your own self. Yeah. So you start to really kind of work in that dynamic of receiving from that desire that you want to open up for this space. You start working with that energy, right? And it's so bloody empowering. I can't tell you how empowering I find it personally. The shifts I've been making, the incremental shifts I've been making by really making, like, yeah, really becoming really honest what works and what I need to call in. It's been really creating this real groundedness, real safety. And then I start getting a lot more experimental and having fun with the process of creation and what I call in. Because I start to feel safe with it, and I start to actually create space for it. You know what I mean? Delphine says, tuning into my own channel rather than taking in so much info from others. Yes, creating and expressing from our own energy, alignment, clear of external noise. Absolutely. And Delphine has been in my 6-month mentorship, and she's really gone down her own rabbit hole with the whole aspect of creating sacred space. But what's interesting is that one of the things Nikiforos was talking also about, like this being online, that it is such a common issue. What we end up doing is we ended up feeding our energy with like everyone else's. And in a way, we kind of can be it's so easily distracting, yeah? From really calling it, from really, in a way, even creating enough of that space to feel, what do we want to do with this? If every single moment of our lives is filled with stuff, then what happens? It's like with other things, we don't have time for our energy to be poured in, for our stuff to be worked through, for our own creative process, for whatever, to even be in that gap for a minute, for things to pour through, for the universe to like see us and want to do something with this. You know what I mean? We're not blocking. So I want you to understand this, that it's not just a process of blocking through what we're resisting and what we are, our emotional blocks or our psychological blocks. I think the process of manifestation is a lot more the current thing that we have as an issue in society is through the business we've created. We've really forgot how to create sacred space in our lives, even if that means in that sacred space we do very little, even nothing. Mary Jane says clearing the clutter. Yeah, absolutely. So that could be manifesting on a physical level, it could be manifesting on an emotional level, on a mental level, whatever. So let's kind of get curious about that process first, yeah? So yes, your routines need to be sustainable and pleasurable, because being responsible for things that we don't care about, it sets entirely different, wrong foundation for the process of manifestation. So in a way, what I'm kind of trying to do here today is really kind of get you a little bit more getting creative about the process of the alignment that you allow yourselves to come into, creating whatever like you need, creating the right foundations for you, so then that everything else can trickle in a lot more easy. Yeah. So being honest with yourself about what works and what doesn't. And finally, it's also about, for those of you who are business owners, I want to say this: if you do manifest through your business, if you, whatever you're calling in is in relation to your work, your business, your career, the kind of that aspect is such a foundational aspect of our lives. Yeah. Again, to remember that you're manifesting through the heart, and that you need to feel and get excited about not only what you do, but how you do it. And that's a little twist that a lot of people need to maybe miss on really reflecting on. Like, you might love what you do, but there's something in the way you're doing it doesn't feel sustainable. You might be somebody that you love what you do, but how you're doing it is not reaching out to enough people, is not creating the deeper impact that you want. And you want to open that up. If you try to crush that down because for some reason you've decided that it's not viable for you to have a deeper impact, or because you feel a little bit like kind of scared about what that needs to open you up to, what can happen is that it can really be a block to manifesting through our work deeper, more, having more, and allowing more money to come through. So that's something to think about. Is the way you're doing things right for you, how you do it? Does it feel right? Because those are kind of conditions, again, that are going to be really important for how we manifest and what we're calling in, yeah? So it's not just about your business and your work and your skills are essentially, we're manifesting through them. It's not just about the money, okay? And it's something that I think is important to call in, because otherwise it's almost like you can do one-offs like to call in money, but remember, for really manifesting in a way that's sustainable, that you create more of this like a deeper desire that's sustainable, that you can work through over months and years or whatever, you set a bit of those aligned conditions for yourself so that you can kind of like, it's so much easier for things to pour through. Yeah. And you might not have a business. It might be completely different things that you're calling in, so you might be calling in a better health, and happier living conditions in your relationships. Yet, we haven't sat down to maybe reflect on sort of how we connect with those relationships and the kind of what we're calling in from them, and just going through some of the basic foundations around this. So it's really doesn't matter what it is that you're manifesting, the conditions need to feel right. So I found a quote yesterday by Rumi, which reminds me, when you do feel overwhelmed about the process of manifestation, there's a lot to think about. I'm aware that I've kind of like, talked about some really foundational things that might feel uncomfortable to reflect on, or they might have been niggling on us for a while and we might have been hesitating connecting with. But just know that initial level of uncomfortability is actually really useful when we sat with it and we sort of feel into the space and open up, just even if it is the space, the place of change is when we decide, what, something about the way I'm doing things, or something in the way that right now my life is I live my life, something about it doesn't quite feel right. Immediately you've given permission, you open up yourself to the universe for an alternative, because that's the block. Sitting on something that doesn't feel okay is the block. You don't need to know the exact details of how you're going to manifest it, but you need to feel into, right, something in this is not okay, and I know there's something more, I know there's something bigger, and then that opens up the space, and that's huge. But that sits on top of so much of our manifestation prowess, that ability to have that honest conversation, acknowledgement in ourselves. So I saw this Rumi quote that says, you're not a drop in an ocean, you're an ocean in a drop. So, and I really love that, because it reminded me that actually when we think that we're no powerful manifestors, actually we are the ocean. Right? We just kind of at times we need to reawaken to this, okay? So if you're going to take the question I want you to take from this, okay, before we go and do our energy work, first of all, we talked about, obviously, your heart is your manifesting space. I want to do a little recap, okay? A little recap before we move on with the energy activation. We're going to do some clearing work, because I know it's brought up some pent-up energy. So I want to clear a bit of that. And then we're going to bring in some money activations as well. And it's not just about money. Money is in there as well, but it's also about a lack mentality and a mindset. And it's about some kind of belief systems that we hold about that. So we're going to clear some of that. But before I do that, I want to just do a little recap. Yeah, we talked about a heart being the manifesting kind of muscle that we want to sort of pulsate, and we want to feel into. That's really what creates the electromagnetic field. When I did the retreat, the 3-day retreat on activating the witch, queen, and lover, we talked about that on the lover archetype, you know, essentially is what really pulsates that desire for what you're manifesting, what you're calling in, and allowing it to be flexible, because as it shifts and as you shift and change, so will your desire, and that's okay. We'll take different shapes and forms, okay, but that's fine. That's part of the process, so don't worry about it. What matters is that you stay true to how it's changing, what you're opening up to, so that you don't block what you're calling in. And we talk about allowing the conditions around us to support us, as opposed to us being the nurturer, the giver, the provider, even to like non-animate objects. You know, a home is here to support us. Yes, we need to take care of it, to do a couple of things, but you know, it's there to essentially to be there for us, to support us, for us to relax, to be a haven. Does your home reflect that being a sacred space for you? Does it feel nurturing? What needs to shift for that to feel? Often it's our mindset and how we allow ourselves to relax in our space. And we talked about, you know, how that is important to open up the vessel of receptivity, yeah? But also we talked about your routines needing to feel pleasurable and sustainable. So part of our sacred space is the way we choose to live our day-to-day, the way we choose to eat, to sleep, to connect with others, the way we get to honor ourselves and not bypass ourselves and our needs in order to meet other people's, you know, all those kind of things, and our ability to create sacred space and place sacred boundaries around this. And so what that does is not only you're opening up your vessel for receptivity, the universe starts to see what you're really allowing yourself to become a vibrational match for. So then the calling in aspect becomes a lot easier, a lot more comfortable, a lot more effortless, because we are shifting and tweaking the conditions that give us that joy and the happiness, gives us more pleasure, are more sustainable and more supportive of us. And then it's so much easier to attract that which we call in as well. So I want you right now to share with me something that is sitting on top of your desires right now for manifesting, something that you're calling in that feels, it could feel urgent, it could feel like important, it could feel just really valuable. You'll have a list of things, so we'll still work with the whole of the list, but I want you to first of all name that one thing with me and with everyone here that you feel is on top of your list right now that you really desire the most. And it might be that if you're not feeling specific, try to see if you can make it specific, that it feels that it can feel tangible enough, right? Because it's about your energy becoming discerning, and it's easy to call in something when it feels your energy is discerning. Yes, I want you to feel like, rather than like, it's tempting to say, I want to invite my next level in my abundance in my work. I want you to get specific. If you run a business, I want to call in, you know, I really want to be calling in 2 new clients every month, or 5 clients every month, whatever that is, you know, or, you know, so you might have a goal that you want 6 figures, but what would be, because we're talking about incremental momentum, what would be the next thing that would make you happy, that feels safe for your nervous system, that doesn't overwhelm you, and that feels, yeah, I can, that feels good. That doesn't feel too far out. Yeah. But it could be anything. It could be your health. It could be whatever. Do you want to share with me? What's the one thing that you feel that you're calling in right now that's really important to you at this point? I would love to know. Gabby says, to be in my correct environment, home and surrounded by the proper people, especially my life partner. I love that. Great. That's really beautiful. So this is the place when you're calling in, when you do the next exercise that I'm going to show you. I want you to grab your glass of water, by the way, and just fill it up if it's not full already. You're going to be feeling into this energy, okay? What that will feel like. then you then feed into the details through your heart space. You feel into the details. Oh, my perfect environment will feel like this. See yourself in the daily ritual living in that correct environment, what the people around you would feel like, how they would give to you, how you would give to them. See how you experience yourself having joy, the stuff you get to do, the connection you have with your partner, that stuff you want to bring in. Yeah. Anybody else that wants to share? I think people are feeling a bit shy, and that's okay. You don't have to share it if you don't want to. But I really recommend getting clear with yourself. Stability, peace in my finances. What would that look like, Mary Jane? Remember what we talked about, being discerning in your energy, of calling that in. Calling that in. So what would that look like? What amount of money would you have in mind? Even if you don't want to share, just make it clear in your mind. What's the next level? It might not be a huge number, but it'd be a number that will give you that stability, will give you peace. What number would that be? Can you name it for yourself? That's really an important part of the process. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, you're very welcome to continue posting at the end of the energy work. I want to do the activation, guys, and I want to open up the space a little bit to release a bit of energy, right? So that we can kind of stir things up a bit. Nikiphora says, I want to create a space for yoga practice in my neighborhood, a community where I help people discover a personal practice, something that will help me as well grow roots here. Great. So the roots thing is a really beautiful thing, because you understanding, this is the thing with manifestation, it needs to be a good reason for us. It needs to have a deeper a deeper desire. So the roots desire feels really important, and that feels like a really powerful anchor for manifesting the yoga space and creating that yoga space. Yeah, beautiful. I love that. I really love that. Anybody else that wants to share before we start? And make sure it's about you, that is coming from you. You're not doing anything to satisfy anybody else's, your parents' ideas, or your whatever, your mentors' ideas, or your partners. It's about what we desire, right? So what we're gonna do now, guys, I want to take you through a little bit of a energy clearing before we get into our activation. And we're gonna be bringing a few different alignments, sacred soul alignments, that are going to be activating more of your ability to receive more. I will explain as we go through the activation what these are specifically. But can you, for now, give yourself a moment? First of all, if you can grab your glass of water. For those of you who want to, you might not want to do that. I love working with water. So I'll tell you in a minute when to hold your glass of water in your hands, in between your hands. But for now, I want you to just relax, yeah? And I want you to bring your attention, just really kind of let the dust settle over everything that I shared with you. So everything that I shared with you guys, I want you to just let the dust settle for a minute, because we're going to just kind of connect with ourselves now, okay? And I want you to take a couple of deep breaths in and out. And just allow yourself to arrive in the space. Just breathe in and out. And allow just all the pieces of yourself to arrive fully in the space. Really letting the dust settle, all the things we talked about, just releasing. Now I want you to let your energy drop into the earth and let your energy almost like really go and travel deep into the middle of the earth. Where all this unconditional love of Mother Earth is. And just let Mother Earth hold you for a minute. Allow yourself to surrender as you're breathing in and out. And as we do that, I'm also going to invite the violet flame energy for just really transmuting any energy of lack or anything that's come up from the conversation we've just had. I want you to visualize this beautiful violet flame all around your energy body. As you're breathing in and out. And I want you to now take this beautiful pink unconditional love of Mother Earth up with you through your body and travel back up through the earth. Bring it up through your feet into your legs. Into your base chakra. Bringing it into your sacral. Up into your solar plexus. Moving it up into your heart chakra. But then moving that energy up through your throat, your third eye, your crown chakra, up through the sky, going all the way up, up, up. All the way up, up, up through the stars and the sky, through all the different layers of the universe, traveling high through the planets, all the different levels of consciousness, and going so high up until you reach this iridescent white light of the Creator, and becoming one with the unconditional love of the Creator. So in that space, you can release and let go of any energy that's bringing you down, that's causing anxiety or worry, letting yourself bathe into that energy. And just really breathing in and out. The home of the Creator is also where we can manifest from more powerfully. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out, just becoming one with the energy. Beautiful. And then I want you to take that energy back down in your energy body and travel all the way back down through all the different layers of the universe, through all the stars and the planets, and move further down, all the way down, through all the lights, our Milky Way, letting it flow back through your crown chakra into your third eye, and bringing that energy back into your heart space, so you have the unconditional love of Mother Earth with the love of the Creator in your heart space. And what we're going to do now is we're going to be calling in some of the alignments that we're going to be working on. So just breathing in and out. And first we're calling in the it's a wealth series alignment. So this is all about cultivating wealth, but it's also removing limiting beliefs. Yeah. So the first one is about giving off the karmic wheel. So our desire to keep on coming back in the karmic wheel, reliving over and over the same things, the same patterns, the same mistakes, the same limitations. So we're choosing to come off the karmic wheel. So take a deep breath. It's breathing in and out. Now we're calling in the money activation, which is all about shifting our beliefs around money. So if you have any limiting beliefs, it's hard to make money doing what you love, or that you have to work hard for money, and that money doesn't grow on trees, that money is for everyone but not yourself. All those kind of crunky beliefs that we have around money, whatever that might be for you, we're clearing some of those beliefs around this. So take a deep breath. Beautiful. Just breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. And anywhere where you feel that you're not enough, so this is what we're clearing now. And again, it's about that vessel of receptivity that we talked about. So it's about allowing yourself to be who you are and receive all that you can right now. That's all the stuff around feeling unworthy and, you know, our belief systems that make us keep us small. Well done. Just take deep breaths. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. And feeling where the energy is moving in your body the most, and letting it move through as it needs to. And now, anywhere where you feel that money is not for you, that good things are for everyone else but yourself, let's clear that as well. Just breathe in. Just breathing it all in. Anywhere where you feel that you struggle with poverty and suffering. So we're going to be doing a poverty struggle and suffering disconnection. So anywhere where you feel plugged in into the programming that we have to struggle to succeed, or there has to be an element of suffering with what we let go of, the change of the habits that we're making, or whatever it is. So let's disconnect from that mindset and that energy. Just breathing it in. And we've got 3 more before we call in our manifestations. So anywhere where you feel enslaved in your current belief systems, in a system that has you working in a particular way, in the way you're making money, in the way you're living your life, we are going to do a slavery detachment. Just breathing it in and clearing all forms of slavery from your energy system. I'm feeling this one on my ears a lot more. Just breathing it in and out. Anywhere where you feel that there has to be an element of sacrifice to succeed, we're going to be clearing this. So really unplugging ourselves from lack. Breathing in and out. And just almost kind of allowing and visualizing the energy moving almost like a spring water through your body. And finally, anywhere where you experience yourself to have money trauma, traumas around money from any experiences you have had, we want to unplug from that. That's where I'm yawning. Anytime you yawn, that's just another way of clearing energy. Just letting it move through every cell and electron of your body. Just breathing in and out. You're doing great. Beautiful. Just breathing in and out. And as you let all that energy move through you, I now want you to just bring into your awareness and say to yourself out loud, right? All that you're calling in right now, it could be 1, 2 things, it could be more, but it's again, things that you felt into that you know you want to invite in right now. And I want you to, if you do have a glass of water, I want you to put your hands around the glass of water as you call those things, and as you say and decree to the universe what you're inviting, what you're calling in, what you're manifesting. And do it with some power and conviction. And just call it in and just name it. And then feel into this. And then anything else that you need to follow that up with, like, I'm willing and open to receive this. I am ready to receive this. I am asking for this. I am so ready for this. I am excited to be bringing those energies into my life. Anything that you feel will help your energy, will help feel more comfortable with what you're calling in right now, just name it, voice it. I want you to put your hands, as I said, around your cup as you're voicing those manifestations, those blessings, the whatever you're desiring, whatever you're calling in. And really bring that energy that you're calling into the glass of water. Really pour that desire, really pour that energy into the water. When you're ready, I want you to take your glass of water and just drink it. Mm. And you can do that anytime that you want to manifest something. You can really put your energy into the water and call in the manifestation there and then drink it, yeah? For those who want that little extra witchery. But you don't have to do it. You can just call it, you know, you can still also take those and bring them into your plant them into the soil on New Year's, on full moon, new moon. So you can always do that as well. But obviously today was a bit of a special day, so we wanted to do that. And yeah, obviously open up your eyes when you're ready. And I want you to just really give yourself a moment to just, you know, take a moment after this call to just really chill, to just kind of recalibrate, to just, you know, if you need to drink more water, whatever you need to do, just give yourself a moment to be grounded, and just let things happen. And however little or much you feel this energy healing, you know, it's doing its thing. Let it do its thing. So you don't need to worry. But if you feel like you want to grab a pen, go to your journal, write stuff down. If stuff that has come up that's important to you, that you feel that you want to share in your journal or share here with me as well in our space here with everybody, feel free to do so. Does anybody want to share something about what's your takeaway from this? Obviously, you've done your manifestation, but I would be interested to know what do you feel? It's either through a little shift, a tweak you're doing in your current routine, or something that you know would really bring a little bit more energy in what you're calling forward right now. What kind of shift in your condition would really support you towards that next step? What it is you're calling in right now? What's the one thing that you could start doing? One small incremental step, building that momentum. What would that be, the next thing for you right now? One little shift or tweak or just awareness that's coming through to you right now. Do you want to share that? That was really beautiful, and I feel the power drinking the water. Nice. The universe wants us to prosper. Oh, I love that, Nikki, for us. The universe does want us to prosper. Empowerment, nice. Nice. Just feeling this positivity. Beautiful. So when you say Yifan, you say empowerment. So if we were to get specific, think about how would I bring that empowerment in the way I'm living my life right now to support those conditions, what I'm calling in? you know, it could be, and obviously when we manifest, it's not just about manifesting things. It could be manifesting energy. We're manifesting more the energy of joy. Catherine, you just shared joy. We're manifesting the energy of playfulness. We're manifesting more the energy of like well-being, overall well-being. So it's not just about stuff, things, and money. I love that. And one for my business owners, something that I share in SDR, one thing we do with money conjuring is that we think about, we set that goal, you know, we get clear about what the goal is. So if you're a service provider right now, I know a few of you are, I want you to understand that, or if you're people who are kind of initiating businesses, let's think about, let's get the numbers, yeah? Let's start kind of create that kind of vortex through even just getting the numbers clear. So if you wanted, like say, to make 100K a year, let's just say, we might not be aiming so high, but we'll break it down. You basically want to have $100 product. You want to sell it to 1,000 people. If you have a $200 product, you want to sell it to 500 people. If you have a $400 product, you want to sell it to 226 people. If you are selling 1,000 product, you want to sell it to 100 people to make 100K. And if you're selling a 2,000 product, you're selling it to 50 people. And a 5,000 product to 20 people. And the reason I'm bringing those numbers in, because I want to, like, we laid the foundation. I want you to get to have fun when it comes to thinking about an income you want to create for yourself. And I want you to start getting curious about what that would mean in actual money and in actual people buying services. So if you think about 100 people, that's not a crazy number, is it? If you really think about it, and with the access that we have with the internet, what's available to us, it's not a crazy number. But of course, you might not even care right now about the 100K. We talked about incremental, like even like half of that is 50 people, and that's 50K. But even if you said, like, I'd be happy, I'd be feeling safe and happy and peaceful with 30K in my life through my business, that's selling essentially $1,000 product to 30 people, or 60 people if it was half the price. For a course, you're doing a yoga course, you're doing a healing course, whatever it is. I want you to get playful with this process of manifesting. And I want you to understand what the numbers are. Get clear about the numbers, because then you can get playful about the energy of bringing in, calling in the people, and the bringing in the money to fulfill the goal that you have. Yeah, it could be 100K, could be 50K, could be 30, could be 20. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. It could be for some people substituting another income that they had from another job. But I want you to have fun with the process of playing and creating and manifesting possibilities, and really getting kind of to set those conditions that we talked about. So Mary Jane says more peaceful. So guys, I hope you enjoy this. I don't want to bring any more things in because I know that it's a lot, but I want to also let you know, for those of you who are kind of really into your process of coming into deeper alignment, creating the right conditions, want more energy work and more sacred space held around your life right now and your conditions. If you're a business owner, you know that I run a Seer, which is my 6-month mentorship. We do weekly energy work. We have a whole library of manifesting tools as well, like 17 videos, very short videos, implementable. And we have a whole library of business builder for those who want to really monetize your skills more, but we do it in a kind of context of coming into alignment. And I do have 2 spaces at the moment available for that. If anybody wants to explore, give me a shout, send me a message on this. But it's been a real pleasure being here with you today. I'm looking at the wrong place because I'm looking at my phone with your comments as opposed to the screen. But it's been a real pleasure being with you today. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for giving your time and energy. I hope you've got something from this. Enjoy the energy. feel free to listen to the audio sent to my email list as well. And I hope to see you again soon. And lots of love, happy manifesting, and happy Lions Gate portal. Lots of love from me. Bye-bye.